Today, the Sears store in my city closed. To some, this might not mean much. To those under 30, you may not even be aware of the cultural importance that Sears, and before that, Sears and Roebuck, had on this nation. Those under 20, and anyone that has never lived in the United States, probably don't even know that Sears at one point was a household name. At one time, every house in the United States had or had access to a Sears catalog. Sears was one of the three big anchor stores of the American mall scene. Now, if you lived in a small town and you didn't have access to a mall or a Sears store, you could still find the Sears presence in local hardware stores that also doubled as catalog stores. Many brands that became household names and known for their quality came out of Sears. Brands like Kenmore, DieHard, and Craftsman at one time could only be purchased through a Sears store or through the Sears catalog. The store had humble beginnings. Sears, the guy who started it, worked for the railroad. He found that he needed an accurate timepiece to keep the trains on time. So he imported some watches from Europe. His co-workers loved his watches and asked him to import some for them. Then passengers started requesting the watches. From there, the business took off. You see, Sears at its height was bigger than Amazon. It was the Amazon of its day, you could say. Through its catalog, you could get anything. I mean, anything. You need dish soap? It was there. A faucet for the sink? Check. Dishes to eat off of and later be cleaned in the sink? Got that too. Flatware to eat with? They'll have that. Dishcloths and towels? You get the idea? You could even get the cabinets. And, well, where are you going to hang those cabinets? But in a house. Yes, you could even order a house through the Sears and Roebuck catalog. Don't believe me? Look it up. These homes came as kits, usually delivered by train. Once they were received, the owner would assemble them and then finish the interiors, usually using the same catalog that they used to purchase the home. As a child, and those of you in my vintage will remember the Wish Book. Every year, Sears would put out this publication, which I am sure many parents dreaded, and every child loved. This catalog was chock full of the latest toys, for babies all the way to adults. Toys like G.I. Joe, Legos, Lincoln Logs, erector sets, chemistry sets, and I'm sure dolls and toys for girls. But seeing how I was raised in a family with 3 boys, those girls' pages did not get viewed much. I said much because I had a dollhouse. Don't judge me. I have a reason. I love miniature things, especially those things that closely resemble things in real life. On a side note, if you are ever in the Tucson area, stop by the mini time machine of miniatures. This place will blow your mind. Anyway, my brothers and I would take turns with the catalog. We would carefully scan each and every page and write out a complete list of items we wanted for Christmas, to include page number, item number, name, price, and quantity wanted. Then we would take our list and the catalog to our parents so they could know exactly what to get us. As a young adult, Sears still had a profound presence. In the early 90s, before the internet, but after rotary dial telephones. What's that? Never heard of a rotary dial telephone? Well, ask your parents. I remember going to a hardware store in a small mountain town in Colorado to buy a baseball glove. They didn't have the one that fit me, but they said that they could order me one. And yes, they ordered it through the Sears catalog. Funny story, that hardware store was later destroyed by a crazy person. Can I still say that? Okay, how about a mentally ill person? Yes, a mentally ill person destroyed that hardware store when he drove his armored bulldozer through the front door. Sears was where I got my first credit card, tool set, and when I got married, my first household appliances, which I still have almost 20 years later. Sears' downfall started about the time the internet came into being. At first, they didn't embrace the internet, but slowly decided to have an online presence. I imagine they thought that the catalog paradigm that had been around for 100 years would weather the storm of this new thing called the internet. Unfortunately, they were wrong. And in the early 2000s, when they sold off the Craftsman brand, I could see that the end was near. I'll be honest, I have not been in a Sears in some time, Their product selection and quality died out throughout the years, but I will miss them, if for any other reason except we share the same last name. You see, I've gotten into the habit, when asked to spell my last name, to just say, like the store. One day, just like no one remembers the rotary telephone, very few people will know what I am talking about.